Hello there and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are doing very well this week. Hopefully as well, if you're in the UK as well, hopefully there's some good news and a light at the end of the tunnel in terms of things to do with the pandemic and lockdown and such like that. Still looks like it's a long way off in terms of us actually being able to get out of our houses apart from going to work and such like that. But hey, hopefully it's something that we can all look forward to getting back out there, and doing other things apart from just going from work and then going home and then going to work and going home. Hopefully it's something for us to all look forward to. Anyway, genuinely hope that you're all doing really well. Just wanted to make this video and look at what possibilities that Liverpool could have in the near future. Not like straight away, not ahead of like Sheffield United, because we've still got, I think, some injury issues. Well, we have a lot of injury issues, as we well know, and another one being Jordan Henderson. We'll look at that as well. Just one article that someone's wrote about Jordan Henderson and the potential, damage for his injury and the length of what that injury could be and how that could affect us as well. We'll look at all of that, and then I'm going to look at how we could possibly set up Liverpool to be something a little bit different and maybe something that can get us consistency. Now, obviously, the only way that we will ever get any consistency is if we get some leeway in terms of injuries and also luck, which is one thing that we haven't had this season. And I know like the likes of Jamie Carragher and that keep saying that Liverpool can't keep relying on talking about injuries and such like that to suggest that is exactly why our form has been pretty bad. It's been pretty awful, let's be honest. 4 losses in a row at home. Maybe it is the culmination of having such a great long winning streak at home, having that broken to pick it up from where it left off, pick it up from before you were beaten is looking like it's much more difficult for Liverpool than ever at the moment. So first of all, we're going to look at Jordan Henderson, what this article says here, but please do feel free to let me know what your comments are in the comment section below. What can Liverpool do moving forward ahead of the next set of games, because the games don't get easier. Sheffield United, I think we've got Chelsea as well, coming up as well after Sheffield United. So the games don't get any easier. We've just got to take it as it comes now, and hopefully things can get a little bit better somehow. Let's have a look at this article here. So, obviously, we saw Jordan Henderson going down at the weekend. It didn't look good. You saw him try and carry on a little bit, and it just looked awful. And you really feel for the guy, because he's been one of the most derided members of our football team for a long time. And taking over the captaincy from Steven Gerrard and stuff like that. He's taken a lot of hits from our own fan base as well, and he's come out and he's been a Premier League winning captain for Liverpool and stuff like that. He's been absolutely fantastic, Champions League winner as well. He's been nothing short of exceptional. We miss him in midfield anyway because he's been playing in defence, but we miss it. We're going to miss him so much more, because it does look like perhaps, as it says here, report claims it could be a grade 2 tear for the skipper, which would mean 6 weeks on the sidelines at least. Apparently the Mirror, now I don't take much notice of the Mirror and such like that, but even so, it's quoted in here, reported this week that the captain could be out until May, which that would be gutting. It really would be gutting. That's like 2.5 months out, so that would be looking at like what, 8, maybe 10 weeks or something like that. 6 weeks is still a long time to be missing him, and you know what? We're just going to have to face up to the fact that we're going to be missing Henderson for a little bit. When they said it was a groin injury at first, you just sort of, your heart sinks, because you just know a groin injury, it's not something really that's going to be a couple of days, maybe even a week. It's going to be longer, and as it says, could be 6 weeks on the sidelines that we're going to be missing Henderson. And it just doesn't fill you with great confidence, does it? But we move on to the Echo. And they are saying that a storm has descended on Anfield in recent months and such like that as well. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, with Naby Keita, Fabinho and Diogo Jota all due to return soon as the business end of the campaign arrives. Now, apparently Diogo Jota is back in full team training, or is about to be back in full team training, which could be a massive boost for us as well. They'll give us a much needed boost to a group that have appeared tired, stale, and somewhat out of ideas since Christmas. And stale was actually a very good comment on the last video by James, because stale was a word that I couldn't have thought of until I read someone else say it, and stale is what it looks like at the moment. It looks stale. It does look tired and out of ideas, as it says here as well. What I'm hoping for, and I'm not saying there's any positivity out of Henderson being injured or anything like that, but what it should mean for Liverpool now is that centre backs have to start at centre back. We should have enough of them now, and even with all right, maybe the odd occasion we can have Fabinho come back into defence when he comes back from injury as well. But obviously, we would much rather see him as a midfield option. But I understand he's been very, very good, probably one of our best performers in defence this season. So it makes total sense that he would actually probably cover more as a centre back for the rest of this season than moving back into midfield. But he could still be a good option, an amazing option in midfield as well. So hopefully, with that being said, that could mean we see, some of these guys a little bit sooner. Jota looks like, or it sounds like, he's the one that is the closest. Naby Keita as well. I think Naby Keita was actually is actually ready to come back, and he could actually give us something completely different. In terms of actually moving the ball forward, and the way that he drives, the way that he can. And again, it's keeping Naby Keita fit, because Naby Keita is not just this season. Similar with Fabinho in a way. Fabinho's, whenever he's suffered injuries in the past, he's normally out for a while, and sometimes takes a little bit, to get back up to speed and get back to his world class best. I've not noticed Jota to be out at all. I never really paid attention to it when he was at Wolves, because he played for Wolves, doesn't play for Liverpool. So, and Naby Keita is a very curious one, because if he can ever get over his recurring injury issues, he'll be a hell of a player for Liverpool. He'd be a hell of a player for anybody, but it's the injury issues that really do cause a problem with him actually being in games consistently, which we just don't see enough of. So, and as it says here, he's more inclined to carry and dribble with the ball than any other teammate. And it could really just freshen us up to, make us actually be creative. Because I think one of the things that we've been caught up in, myself as well, at first, was having loads of possession and passing the ball a lot. It gives you the image of being creative because you're controlling, but actually, we lack creativity, we lack incisiveness, and we lack just good decisions in the last third of that pitch. Good, and so you know what, and sometimes it is the opposition that we come up against as well. But it just baffles you that when, say, even go back to West Brom, which was a 1-1 game between us, and it was a really tough game. Sam Allardyce's first game, I think it was, as manager of West Brom against Liverpool, and it was 1-1. You're just thinking, man, as if. And then you go see them play a team the next week, and they got beat like 5-0, and you're just like, what? And then I think they got beat 4-0 as well, or something like that, by Leeds, and you're just like, hang on, Leeds are a quality team, but so are we. So what is happening? And then obviously since then the trend has been, it's been very well more down than up, but it's been up and down. It's just not been very, very good. So hopefully, fingers crossed, these guys can come back in and make a difference for us, because we desperately need them. Now what we're going to look at is just some. These are just little formations that I put together on the formation creator that I use for my match previews. These are just theoretical, and it will be missing some players in some of these formations as well. But all it is looking at is what our options could be. Okay, so let's go and have a look at one of the first ones here. Now, this one, you see with Jota being up front, Firmino in behind, Fabinho and Gini Wijnaldum in midfield, Salah and Mane. What I'm looking at here is taking the goal scoring burden off Firmino, because it just actually doesn't work, really. To be fair, we could have been looking at doing this last year, because Firmino, I think he only scored 8 goals last season. I don't actually know what his goal tally is this season, but even so, regardless of any of that, he would be excellent as a creator. He would be excellent as a creator, because no one, not many people can do what he can do with the ball. And the goal that he scored, where he did the what was it, the roulette or whatever it was, whatever you call it, span and laid the ball off to Salah, and he first time finished it. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And there's not many people that can do that like Firmino can. To take the goal scoring burden away from him and allow him to be more of a creator would be absolutely excellent. Now, who else could you fit into that slot there? you could fit Shaqiri in there as like a number 10 in behind the striker. Obviously, Firmino's an option there as well. Any, even I don't know, even like sort of Naby Keita could be there, even though he's not a number 10, he's number 8. But I think anybody that could fill that role, and obviously that is looking at it as if it is a cam, like a creative attacking midfielder. But obviously, if we go to like just a flat three in midfield, which is normally our standard, then Firmino would probably come out of that team there. And then you've got the options here. This is if Fabinho's fit and we go with centre backs in the defence. Fabinho can go into midfield. Thiago's an option in midfield. Milner, when he comes back, is an option in midfield. Naby Keita, Gini Wijnaldum becomes options in the midfield as well. It starts to look like we've got more options, more people to play with, more systems that we could also play with as well. And I think a lot of us are just really hoping. I know I am personally, and I'm trying not to, but I can't help it. I'm pinning a lot of our hopes on in the final third on Diogo Jota because he simply looked unstoppable when he was with us for the first half of the season. He really, really did. He looked unstoppable. Got his hat trick in the Champions League as well. He did. He looked phenomenal, and he didn't just look it. He was phenomenal for Liverpool as well. This is a good option as well. There are going to be some of these formations that do drop out some players as well. So if we move on to this one here, which drops out Sadio Mane, only because out of the front three and out of Salah and Mane is probably underperforming ever so slightly. But because Salah is a goal machine and Mane is just not hitting those same sort of levels like he has in previous seasons at this moment. But Shaqiri is someone that I don't mind being out on a wing or being in a number 10 sort of position or whatsoever. Jota being up front as well. And then you look into the midfield again. This is if Fabinho's fit and we're going with centre backs. Fabinho as the holder, Naby Keita, Thiago. But you can change players. So if we don't go with Naby Keita, we can have Gini Wijnaldum over here. James Milner could be over here as well. Curtis Jones is another option as well that I almost forgot about. And again, these teams start to look strong. They start to look like you've got a lot more options. Because then you think if Shaqiri is playing and starting a game, then you've got Sadio Mane to come off the bench, and vice versa. We could start using these players a lot more. And this is a similar sort of system that we kind of do play anyway. Then we go over to here, and this one is just a simple, swap out of Thiago to Gini Wijnaldum. Again, it's another one of those things where can you have two people like Naby Keita and Thiago playing the same team? Not entirely sure. Two different types of players, but you might want someone like a Gini Wijnaldum who is the epitome of someone who grafts, works really, really, really hard, but has quality in him as well. Not saying that Thiago doesn't work hard, but again, it just freshens things up in a team that does look a little bit stale at the moment. And then the other one, the final one that I've come up with, is just a formation that I love. Now, Naby Keita, Fabinho, you can change these guys out if you wanted to Thiago or whoever it might be. Gini Wijnaldum, Henderson if he ever comes back as well. But again, this one utilises Firmino being behind the striker, and it would be primarily a little bit behind the forwards as well. But I think it gives you a lot of options here. It opens up a lot more. Fabinho literally is the linchpin of being able to do a 4-2-3-1 effectively. I think a 4-2-3-1 would be a fantastic formation for Liverpool. I really, really do, especially considering how much we are struggling defensively. And we've got young centre-backs and new centre-backs in Kabak and Ben Davies as well, who hasn't played a game yet, which is unfortunate, and I would like to see him play games. But whenever he gets included, it's equal. Like Kabak, Phillips, Ben Davies, these guys, in my opinion, just because I can't fit them on the screen, but Ben Davies is also equally an option to any of these guys as well, because I've not seen him play. I didn't see him play for Preston or anything like that. So, but I think the 4-2-3-1, it maximises what we could do defensively, having Fabinho in the midfield, but being able to drop in. So what you could get, right? All I'm thinking right now, I'm thinking out loud. What you can get is obviously the way that we play with Trent going up here, Robertson going up here as well. Is Fabinho comes and drops in the middle of the centre backs while those guys are bombing on. Naby Keita probably stays more into central midfield, and Firmino would stay nearer the striker, nearer the front three as well, while also dropping deeper. But what it would mean is that when you get caught on a counter, instead of just having two centre backs that don't have the most pace. Same with Fabinho as well, but you've got someone else there to help out and cover and also make problems for the opposition on their counter. It just gives you a couple more bodies in terms of defence while not really taking too many bodies away from the attack with Firmino, Mane, Jota, Salah, or Shaqiri, or Oxlade-Chamberlain, whoever we might play up there, Divock Origi, whoever it might be. There's good options there as well. And these, I feel, while they don't move a great deal these days, that Salah, Mane, Firmino, Jota, and whoever else, they can switch positions. Switch positions. Jota's very good on both feet as well. Probably one of the better ones on both feet. You know, you could switch these positions and you can have them rotating in and out of. You know, there's just a lot more options, and it makes it look a lot fresher. Even just looking at this lineup and having Naby Keita and Fabinho in the midfield and Jota up front or whoever it might be up front, just having them there, it makes it look fresher. Now, obviously, we're not going to get away from the fact that we're not going to repair our defense overnight. Our defense isn't going to be, like it was, even until next season, most likely. Virgil van Dijk, I don't think he's not coming back this season. No way. I don't think so anyway. Everything looks great and points towards that he could make an appearance, but I'm just got it in my mind that I'm not going to expect him back. Same with Joe Gomez and obviously Joel Matip as well. Joel Matip, in my opinion, could probably move on next summer, but that's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. Even when we came into this season, though, like the first game of the season, the 4-3 against Leeds, our defence did not look like, that like it was our defence. Could have been worse if we were playing like, the young guys that we've been playing recently and midfielders playing in defence as well. But what hopefully that this could do for us is have our midfielders be able to play in midfield and centre-backs play at centre-back. It sounds so simple. And I'm no manager or anything like that whatsoever. No way. No way. And I am nowhere near the most intelligent man on earth. Nowhere near. But these are just my thoughts and opinions. And hopefully we can go with the centre-back partnership, because I felt that Nat Phillips played well against Everton. And I feel, despite the scoreline against Everton, that wasn't his fault. But I personally feel Nat Phillips should have been playing so much more, and that we could have had Henderson in the midfield. Or other midfielders, like Fabinho as well. I feel that Nat Phillips should be playing like as a starter. I've said that for a while, because we need to get a defensive partnership back up and running for the rest of the season. Switching out and having like 18 different combinations of defenders this season, it needs to be some sort of combination, barring injury. It needs to be some sort of combination that is consistent week in, week out. They learn how to play in 90 minutes with each other. Yes, they get training, 90 minutes. They get all that time together, work it, drill it, and then they get into games, they start to learn, they get the chemistry together and everything like that. And then everything else, hopefully, you would hope, fingers crossed, starts to fall into place. Liverpool can start actually looking at solidifying top 6 before we even think about trying to get into the top 4. The top 4 is very strong, and as I said, we were the most likely team to drop out of it, and we did. We can't really afford to drop any further. I think we're still 6th right now, but there are teams that are they are literally just nipping. They are nipping at us. Aston Villa, I think, have still got 2 games in hand on us as well. It's not going to be easy. But these types of formations and stuff that I was just playing around with in my head, what we could do with these guys coming back. It's gutting that we've lost Jordan Henderson. Absolutely gutting that we've lost him for however long, whether it's 6 weeks or if it is until like May or the end of the season. Absolutely gutting. But we need to move on from it, and these are just some options that I came up with that I think could be viable options anyway. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do feel free. Leave a comment, like the video, whatever you'd like to do. Feel free to subscribe if you would like to as well. Please do feel free to get your thoughts in the comment section below as well. But for now, I'm going to get out of here. I wish you all a very, very good day, and hopefully a good week as well. I'm going to be doing the preview for Sheffield United probably around Thursday or Friday, but let me know what you think in the comments below about this video. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you later.